That aroma would start the windmill on an old Dutch painting. Let's go over here and talk to Mr. Parrot. Here's your breakfast, Mr. Parrot. Well, it seems Kitty Cat's been up to some mischief again. I guess it's riddle time. When is Mr. Parrot really Mr. Froggy? Give up? When he croaks. That was a fun riddle. Would you welcome, please, Fred Rogers?
Roger Moore holds the record for playing James Bond, the most times in history. Audiences remember him as the ultimate elegant, suave super spy. However, behind that tailored suit lies a true comedy master. He constantly mocked himself and willingly shattered his own perfect heroic image. Today, let's watch how Agent 007 used charming absurdity to ruthlessly poke fun at his own massive cinematic legacy. 1. The Helium Test, when cinema's most elegant spy lost his voice. The special guest eagerly participates in an incredibly bizarre late-night television challenge. A witty joke about the distant East provides his initial defensive shield.
Now, I want you to try something. The reason you're so great at this character, you've got it nailed, you got the looks, you got the voice, you have the manners. Was we were thinking of what would it be if you didn't sound like you do? You say Bond, James Bond, 07, I'd like a martini. What is it?
Shaken, not stirred.
Shaken, not stirred. Okay. I have a hose here which is hooked up to a helium bottle. Roger said he has never tried this before. It's just pure helium.
Just before he enters an unpredictable situation, the British gentleman's innate cautious instincts emerge strongly. A disastrous vocal cord transformation will occur very shortly.
Now let me
Let's see if I can say it.
Now, just a second.
What about, can I say I need a doctor afterwards?
Okay. All right, now just take two. Go ahead. Inhale it, swallow it. Another one. Okay. Go ahead.
I'd like... Oh, my God. How long is this?
Having worked as a knitwear model, the veteran actor always maintained absolute masculine appeal. This romantic aura gets completely destroyed by an absurd voice.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's fantastic.
gone.
What a wonderful turn on.
Now, can you say...
Wow, let's do that again, John. Bring the girls on!
You know, you did that line very well.
Unlike typical efforts to protect personal images, he willingly embraced this ridiculous prank for the television audience. The ending farewell quickly becomes extremely chaotic.
And it goes right away. There's no high or anything, but isn't that the strangest feeling when you try to say something?
Yeah, but no wonder that Goodyear blimp goes around and around.
Just take a swig and say, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Just do that. Just a couple.
We'll be right back.
It was 12 remarkable years portraying Agent 007 that made him the most elegant
I want
spy.
you to try something.
These hilarious moments only increased Roger Moore's legendary greatness. 2. Roger Moore effortlessly turned his spy image into pure comedy. Roger Moore conquered Carson's couch previously, and his secret agent aura completely dominated this 1992 Letterman stage. The conversation begins with a royal character.
No. Please.
What you said about, you came up very nicely and said, David Letterman.
Yeah.
Of course, I know who you are. Chuck Connors went up to Noel Coward.
With absolute calmness, the British actor easily turns the most ridiculous situations into normalcy. Television network regulations are about to be dissected right now.
53. Was that 39 years ago?
Wow.
And it was, the first job I had was for Robert Montgomery Presents. And it was a play I did with an actress, Phyllis Kirk and Diane Lynn. And I played a French United Nations diplomat. And I remember, sort of thinking of the restrictions they had in live television in those days, because she says, oh, you've got to be very careful, Diane Lynn says to Phyllis Kirk.
The man who modeled 1950s knitwear understands corporate sponsor power perfectly well. A famous commercial slogan is about to be heavily twisted next.
Right.
Oh, so the sponsors controlled the content of the show very tightly.
If you worked for Chesterfield, you couldn't say you were happy, because that had connotations to be happy-go-lucky.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
LSMFT, which we all know what that means.
Yeah. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Of course it does. Nothing to do with loose sweaters.
What, oh, no, there's another meaning then, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Although he voluntarily exposes past personal mistakes, his signature elegance remains completely intact. Financial matters of a young man will soon unfold rather unpredictably.
And I arrived outside the thing, and I took a bill out of my pocket, a $1 bill, and I said, keep the change. It was 75 cents. It was very lavish. Keep the change. And the tax went, boom, and he was off like a shot. And I went, oh, God. It was a $100 bill. He thought, crazy Englishman.
Cool. No, that's a great story. You should do that. You should just, anywhere you go, slap down a C note, keep the change.
Starring together in a 1971 television series, successfully provided this precious comedic material. A famous colleague's private habit easily becomes the next target.
Yeah, it was on ABC here in the United States, but I think it was it a British production originally?
Oh, yeah, we did it for Lou Grade. Tony, when we first did it, he was a non-smoker, and he was leading the campaign in America against smoking. And It was a big television campaign. Yeah. And we arrived, in those days I smoked. And we arrived at Tony's house with the producer, Bob Baker, and the writer, Terry Nation. And we said, this was what we were going to do. And we were about half an hour talking, and Lou Grade said, don't smoke, Tony doesn't like smoking. And after about an hour's conversation, we all wanted a cigarette, and I said, look, I know you don't smoke, but do you mind?
If you maintain a carefree perspective, you will never fear illness again. This mindset directly leads to a highly mechanical medical procedure.
He signed to do the show. 2 months later, he arrived in London. I was ill in hospital, having a kidney polished.
I'm sorry? Just get into having it polished.
Well, I was having stones removed.
Oh, I see. As long as you're having to remove, polish it. What the heck? Take the rust off and polish it.
They work better that way.
Yeah.
But anyway, they call it dialysis.
The undisputed record holder for playing James Bond, an outspoken critic of violence, actually hated guns. Behind cinematic explosions hides a panicked psychology.
She stands, I then have to grab her, and her body's sweating, my hand's sweating, and she goes straight through my fingers like this. Yeah. And she's left standing there, and I turn around, Brett! And oh God, shall I be James Bond, who would leave her? Or shall I be Roger Moore and the gentleman? And I rushed back and I got her, but by this time the other ones started going, and I put my arm around her. And this flame shot around, and she had little blonde, she used to have little short blonde hairs up her back, and I felt them all crinkle and go away.
Never before has an action hero image been shattered so quickly by its owner. It is hard predicting consequences when protective gear appears.
Makeup man comes up to me and he gives me 2 little things to put in my ears, not earrings, but
earplugs.
She says, "What?" Barbara says, "What are those for, Roger?" I said, "Because they're going to be very loud bangs." Oh. Well, should I have some? I said, yeah, why not? So, these are mine. You get your own. She said, well, what do we do when the explosion... I said, we run. She said, why, will it be dangerous? I said, of course it'll be dangerous. She said, oh, I thought if I stood near you, I'd...
Knighted in 2003 for UNICEF work, he dedicated his later life to children. Nobody turns absurdity into high-class laughter quite like Roger Moore. 3. Bad memory, T-joke, and a delightfully absurd Roger Moore. Despite holding the absolute record of 7 James Bond movies, he always felt insecure regarding personal capabilities. A fatal intellectual weakness created pressure. He chose becoming an incredibly disruptive prankster. Cinema's most classic dialogue faces complete destruction. He proved himself a true prankster. The predecessor's massive shadow forces the character toward violence. The man who constantly mocked himself ironically delivered history's funniest James Bond. This charming absurdity created an indelible cinematic legacy for global audiences.
So was Ian Fleming.
4. Beyond the Spy Myth, How Roger Moore Laughed at His Own Legacy. Appearing on television in 1985, the actor continued showcasing his signature, self-deprecating style. An insulting letter from a viewer serves as our starting point.
I've a letter here, if I may read it to you.
You made it from Cubby.
Yes, from Cubby. No, it's not from Cubby. It's from Betty Collier. You may wish to be considered for the part of James Bond, but how do you expect to cope with the athletic bedroom antics of 007 with your bad back? Don't you think such feats would be beyond your capabilities? Is it terrifically athletic?
Well, you can get doubles to do that sort of thing, you know.
You don't, though, do you? The truth.
For the love scenes, yeah.
Innate calmness helped the British gentleman easily neutralize physical criticisms. The writing habits of media professionals are about to become a satirical target.
I'm closer to my mid-30s.
Oh, you can stretch the imagination. But the whole age thing is wonderful. I was surprised to hear it in television. You get it in the press in England, I've noticed. Yeah. They can never report anything. You know, a housewife was arrested for shoplifting. Mrs. Brown, 48, of Morden. You know, it's always ages. And if it goes into television, they will probably, you know, so the royal premiere on Wednesday. And I can see the sort of Judith Chalmers will be saying, oh yes, and the Prince of Wales, 34, is...
Although he headlined 7 Bond movies, Moore deliberately avoided his predecessor's cold-blooded style. Past psychological pressure will be revealed very shortly.
And I'm a lighter sort of actor than Sean.
How did you categorize? Did you think a great deal about how you were going to approach this part? Did you attempt to motivate yourself?
Well, I thought about
sort of
money.
Method school of acting stuff. Just the money, eh?
No. My only worry ever about doing it was being, you know, the comparison with Sean was that I would say to myself, my name is Bond, James Bond, and then, but I would hear it in my mind, my name is Bond.
Through logical thinking, the movie star frankly stripped away his character's dangerous facade. Familiar action cinema tropes face an objective perspective next.
I think we have injected a little more humor.
Yeah, it seems to me to be more and more for laughs and more enormous effects.
Well, I think, you see, Bond films are so outrageous, the stunts are so outrageous, everything is, you know, beyond belief. I mean, there is no such thing as a spy who can walk anywhere in the world and every bartender recognizes him and says, "Ah, Mr. Bond, a vodka martini shaken."
This megastar's massive success was often explained by himself as pure circumstantial luck. His actual working attitude at film studios gets exposed now.
I've said this before, like women, my audience is the most fickle crowd you'll ever meet. They turn on me like cornered rats.
No, it's not true.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Do you still get fun making movies? You obviously take a lot of fun out of life.
Well, you'd be a bit of a nit not to get fun. I mean, I get overpaid.
But actors, some
for
actors...
acting like an overpaid schoolboy. It's ridiculous.
But some actors do get paid more than you get paid.
It was absolute humility that transformed personal weaknesses into massive mainstream appeal. Roger Moore truly left behind an incredibly unique cinematic legacy. 5. The Ultimate Raconteur, Roger Moore's chaotic late-night confessions. The charming guest casually exposed the unglamorous reality behind a famous super spy. His acting motivation actually began with highly mundane personal desires.
You can't have...
Behind that elegant exterior lies an unpredictable individual constantly breaking rigid artistic rules. A legendary cinematic quote will soon become a cheap possessing an enormous personal fortune. The beloved actor brilliantly played a destitute victim. Personal financial matters immediately become an incredibly effective defensive shield.
You're supposed to be one of the wealthiest actors in the business. Did I detect a cringe when I mentioned that?
Well, it's all right.
I really said you're supposed to be.
It's all right. Tax inspectors don't watch this in America.
No, I
Not
think
our
not.
tax inspectors.
I think not.
That's a terrible thing to say to anybody who's the wealthiest. I'm not.
Well, I didn't think you were. That's why I asked if I thought you were. I wouldn't embarrass you with it. I just said you're supposed to be one of the wealthiest.
You saw me ride in on my bicycle. If you had any class, you'd have sent a car.
But with a chauffeur on the handlebars? That's ridiculous.
Having signed a long-term MGM studio contract in 1954, he experienced countless dangerous occupational hazards. A bulky costume triggers a rather delicate biological comment.
And he had all his armor with D&H entwined, and they made this wonderful golden armor for me at MGM, but it was all real. And the gloves were millions of pieces of metal, and I couldn't bend my fingers any more than that. And I lost the reins, and I was leading a charge out, and I was galloping away, and I had no reins. And I knew I was hung up, and I had and I also had metal things on my feet stuck in the stirrups. And I thought, I'm going to get hung up on the stirrups, I'm going to come off. So I got those out. I had metal here, so I couldn't grip with my knees at all. And the horse turned right, and I turned left, and I hit a set of concrete steps. It was very uncomfortable.
Concrete steps?
And I came to, they were cutting the armor off, and it was like being, Lana Turner said something absolutely awful about.
While performing extremely dangerous cinematic situations, his innate clumsiness totally overpowered all secret agent skills. One fiery explosion leaves permanent marks on his body.
And underneath, you see this long tube underneath the table, and you see him put a gun, and he's going to send a rocket straight down the end of the table at the chair where I'm sitting. And, of course, I know it's coming. I'm James Bond. And so I'm about to throw myself out of the chair, and they blew the chair up before I got out of it. And I hit the deck, in flames. And I tried to carry on with the dialogue, now I'll get you. And then I couldn't see for smoke, you see, and it's me, I'm on fire. And I had 3 holes where you have 1.
You mean a true hot seat?
Crucial behind-the-scenes tricks were thoroughly understood through his extensive production work on The Saint. Extreme paranoia subsequently shapes a remarkably cruel conspiracy theory regarding investors.
Well, it's because the insurance problem is so enormous when you make a film. Making sure that the actor is going to live through the film, and particularly in Bond, because they're going to do everything to you. And I figure that when I started Bond, in the first 2 weeks, they can quite easily kill me off. I mean, literally, and collect the insurance money, then go ahead and make another film with somebody else. But then once they've got so much footage in the can, they're stuck. They're lumbered with me, right? And they have to go on. But then when they get to the last 2 weeks of the films, I get very edgy, and I'm very careful. I look over my shoulder, because I then know that they've got enough film to shoot over somebody's shoulder for the last 2 weeks.
Pure survival instincts emerge clearly when the main character faces imminent cinematic death. Heroic chivalry gets completely discarded amidst a terrifying smoke and fire environment.
And I am left on the island with Britt Ekland, and of course the things went off. My hands got very sweaty because I'm nervous, and I grabbed her and I said, "Come," and I left her there. And I knew that the third had gone, and I said, "Come on!" And then I said something that I can't repeat to her, which still didn't make her move. She doesn't recognize her name. So I went back to her and I grabbed her. I mean, heroism took over. I was me, not Bond. And when the flames licked around that wall, I put my arms around her like this, and all the hair singed all the way down. She was wearing a bikini. All went straight down the back.
It was relentless UNICEF dedication that earned this legendary performer a royal knighthood during 2003. This unapologetic absurdity turned Roger Moore into an irreplaceable icon. 6. Beyond the spy myth, how Roger Moore laughed at his own legacy. This late-life television interview marks the absolute peak of his self-deprecating art. The concept of anonymity immediately faces ruthless dissection, are bluntly mocked by the veteran actor. The natural aging process leads to a highly decisive. His daily lifestyle remained extremely practical. Choosing personal transportation creates a remarkably striking visual contrast. Beneath that aging exterior lies an incredibly mischievous soul. An impossible franchise script concept is about to be formally proposed. 12th anniversary book promotion that successfully facilitated this precious conversation. Roger Moore forever remains a uniquely honest entertainment icon. Roger Moore proved that a super spy's greatest weapon is self-deprecating humor. Shedding the glamorous shell, he delivered genuine laughter and dedicated his later life to UNICEF. No one could shatter a perfect image as charmingly as he did. Which moment impressed you the most? Leave a comment below, hit like, and subscribe to the channel.